What's good, y'all? Could we potentially see Jackson Arnold use a red shirt and potentially leave the Oklahoma program? This was supposed to be his starting job. But hey, head coach Britt Venables said, we sticking with my guy Michael Hawkins, right? He wants to be a starting quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. I feel like it's only right to give Mike the opportunity, a chance to be the guy, have a body of work. So if your coach is saying that after the performance that Hawkins had last game, he wasn't the worst quarterback, right? He did have that fumble, right, but didn't turn over the football. I feel like they like the upside of the young kid, man. That's what it kind of comes down to. And they're like, well, we've seen what you can do, Arnold. And not that it's not great, but we don't feel like you can lead us to the promised land potentially. Now, season is not a wash technically just yet. They are obviously 4-2, Got some big time matchups coming up. Still got to play Bama and several other marquee opponents. But he's like, hey, man, I'm going to roll with my guy. So Arnold kind of receiving that, hearing that quote. It's going to be interesting to see what he decides to do because this was supposed to be his team. This was supposed to be the year Oklahoma made a run, right? Defense is a lot better than what it usually is for Oklahoma, right? Remember, they're coming from the Big 12, so it's not really good. And to be honest with you, I don't really blame Coach Venables. I would go with Michael Hawkins too. A little bit more athletic, right? Good dual threat ability. He's going to take his lumps as a true freshman, but it's like his upside is higher than Arnold's is currently where it is. Now, that's not to say that Arnold can't be successful at another team. He surely could, but it's all going to depend on what he decides to do. Will he stick it out and be his backup, which likely is not going to happen, or will he go ahead and hit the transfer portal? I think you could see that potentially for Jackson Arnold. It is unfortunate because it's just like, well, I had technically that bad game against Tennessee. I don't get another chance. So, I mean, it's a tough world, though, y'all. So, when you're thinking about it, too, right, and this is the key for the programs, you have to win. There's no take a year to figure it out, 2 years to figure it out, right? That's no longer a thing. When you have NIL money in here, you're paying all these coaches, right? You're paying for these players. It's almost like, I almost say it's like the NFL, but it's similar. If you're not performing at a high level and you even have one bad game, you likely can have your starting role tarnished. Like, you can have your starting role taken away from you. And I think that's what we're seeing here, man. And it is unfortunate, but that big game they lost to Tennessee when he struggled mightily, that could potentially change the whole trajectory of his career, man. So that's the world it is now, man. I mean, these college programs are paying you a couple $100,000 and even more, sometimes a couple $1 million for these quarterbacks. You have to perform. It's no different than NFL. They be